Our countdown to tip-off continues, and today's stop is Durant. And we get to visit with the head men's basketball coach of the Southeastern Savage Storm, Coach Kelly Green. Coach, it's always a privilege to get to visit with you in your 10th season now at the helm in Durant. The team is picked according to the preseason coaches poll to be at the top of the GAC Western Division, and probably rightfully so. You come off of back-to-back 23-8 seasons, back-to-back NCAA tournament berths that have been earned. I realize we didn't get to see it through to its conclusion this spring, but the program looks like it's in good shape.
Well, looks can be deceiving, Joey. Looks can always be deceiving, and so we'll see what happens.
You know, I knew that you would take that stance on that, but Coach, it really has been a good run for Southeastern fans, I'm sure. I know that we're entering into the post-Kevin Buckingham era right now, and he was a big part of that run, but you have a lot of pieces that come back into play for you this season, and among those, you bring back Adam Dvorsky, as well as Kellen Manick, and so many others, Bobby Johnson, too. Can you talk about those returnees?
Well, those are our three senior returnees, and Kellen and Adam obviously played substantial minutes, and Bobby's kind of had an interesting career because he's been hurt half of it, and but towards the end of the year last year, he was playing a lot of minutes. So we've got kind of 2.5 starters back, but you know, the thing that's a little I don't know. We've got a few other guys back, but they didn't play much last year. And so we're going to, needless to say, rely heavily on those three guys.
Speaking now with Coach Kelly Green from Southeastern. And, Coach, really quickly, before I forget, I had mentioned that Jeff Morgan, when I was visiting with him, was the dean of the Great American Conference coaches, but he was quick to point out that he thought that you were actually older than he is. So is that verifiable?
That is, but you know, maybe we need to go back and check birth certificates and just make sure. But you know, okay. I have a little more hair than Jeff does, and if we go by that, I think I win. But mine may be a little. Mine may have a few other shades in it.
Okay, well, I needed to clarify that really quickly, and it had been a while since I'd visited with Jeff. So the good thing I would imagine is for you is that in this visit with you is later on into the series.
Well, you know what is interesting is I think it was last year I started thinking as I looked around the league, I thought, I wonder who the oldest guy in here is, and I was hoping it was going to be Dennis Nutt, and unfortunately, I think he may even be a year younger than me. So, so everybody needs to take it easy on the old guy.
Okay, that I'm sure that's how they'll come into Durant, each one of the opponents this season. Well, you're facing a Western Division schedule. We talked about some of the players that are coming back, and of course, you know, we mentioned Buckingham, and rightfully so because he has been such a big name for the program. But there are going to be some new faces that we'll be talking about this year. Take us through some of the newcomers.
Well, you know, it's kind of a day-to-day deal, Joey. We've got some guys that were in the program last year, a couple guys that redshirted, and then one or two guys that played a few minutes last year. Vadim Kline probably played the most of the returnees that we have. Al Irvin played substantial minutes. Kind of here and there. He's coming off a knee injury, and so we're not really sure what his status is going to be at this time. We have a couple of guys redshirting that had, you know, storied high school careers here in Oklahoma over at Kingston, won a state championship. R.J. Weeks and Connor Brister. We redshirted them last year, so they'll be freshmen this year, and I guess, you know, the way the NCAA's done, freshmen next year. Maybe they'll be freshmen again for 3 or 4 more years. Who knows? But those guys have all kind of the returnees, and we had another 6'6" guy from Houston, Markeith Williams, plays really hard and has been in the program a couple years, redshirted 2 years ago, and got to practice every day against quality guys last year, and had some shining moments in practice. But you know, what's always kind of funny is whenever you change your jersey over from the dark color to the light color, there's amazing things happen to you as a basketball player. And I'm sure all the coaches will understand what I'm talking about.
I think I do too, Coach, and it makes sense. I know that, and it's well documented in our conversations, the credence that you give to the preseason polls, and I think that the higher up you're ranked in the polls, the less credence you give to it. That's okay, but you are ranked pretty highly in this poll this year, and again, rightfully so. Back-to-back 23-win season. As you mentioned, 2.5 starters returning and a number of new faces. How do you continue that kind of culture and to try to make another run, another 20-plus win season?
Well, I think 20-plus wins will be very, very difficult since we're only playing 20. And I mean, that's going to be a spectacular season if we can master that this year, and especially with all the COVID situations and games getting postponed and canceled here and there. But if we could win 20 this year, I'd take it right now. Let's call it a year. But you mentioned about the coaches poll, and Joey, last year's poll proved me correct, because if I'm not mistaken, they had us picked very high last year, and we succumbed to Southern Naz, and then lost in the semifinals of the conference tournament. So I guess I was right and everybody else was wrong last year. So we'll see what happens this year.
All right, Coach. Well, the team is picked highly, and I know that Southeastern fans would like for you to be wrong and that you stay up there near the top. But again, it should be fun to watch. The season gets underway January 7th. That's a date we all have circled on our calendar. It will be a Western Division Conference slate, and it gets underway for you all with Oklahoma Baptist, a team that is picked right up there near the top with you all. Right.
And, I think I started rambling about something else, and I got away from your question before. And, about how to sustain things, and good players sustain things. Quality character guys help you sustain doing well in your program and being competitive. And we've got a nucleus of very good people, and we've tried our best, just like I'm sure everybody has, to bring in quality people. And that's one thing we've been fortunate, and we've had guys that have been here a few years. And so whenever you get some carryover like that, then you insert another person into the program, or into the mix, or hopefully into the starting lineup, or into the top rotation of your players, and you're able to sustain things. But it's very difficult, and it's very difficult whenever our league is so balanced, and which makes it even more difficult. There's, even though records may be, there may be a big difference between first and 12th, the competitiveness between first and 12th is not as widespread as the records are. And, I was telling somebody the other day, I remember the days of the OIC whenever I played. And Dennis Rodman was playing here at Southeastern, and there were 5 teams in the OIC, much like there is this year here with the way we're going east and west with Arkansas and Oklahomas. And I remember the first place team was 5-3, the last place team was 3-5, and everybody else was 4-4. And with us playing, what is it, the 2 or quad double headers or whatever we're doing this year, playing the 4 games, I could see it being very similar to that on both sides of the conference.
I understand. Quadruple round robin was the term I heard used, and I thought that was very. I mean, it's accurate, but it's a pretty neat phrase, and not one that we want to use forever within the league either. This is going to be an interesting experiment, that's for sure. Well, Coach, thank you very much. And again, the Savage Storm, according to the preseason coaches poll, picked at the top of the Western Division in the GAC. Coach Kelly Green, success to you this season. It's always enjoyable to get to visit with you, and thank you for taking time with us today as we count down to tip-off in the GAC.
Absolutely, Joey. Sure appreciate what you do for all of the schools in our conference, and it's my pleasure to be a part of it.